Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in the previous video of mine, we have already studied what are linear equations in two variables and how to identify whether these are linear equations in two variables. Also we have studied how to write the general form of linear equations in two variables. After that, today in this video, we are going to learn about simultaneous linear equations, methods of solving linear equations in two variables, and we're going to see a few examples of those methods. Okay, so let us proceed. So first, what are simultaneous linear equations? So let us understand the definition. When we think about two linear equations at the same time, okay, they are called as simultaneous linear equations. Let us have a look at the examples. You can see two equations here. Yes, these are both linear equations in two variables since they have two variables x and y, and also their degree is 1. If you see, like there is xy and also there is xy, also their degrees are 1, and the coefficients of x and y are real numbers. Okay, so hence these all these conditions are being satisfied, and hence we call them as linear equations in two variables. So when we have such two equations, when we are going to discuss about these two equations at the same time, in that case we say that these are linear equations, these are the simultaneous equations. Okay, so now let us proceed further and understand few methods that we are going to use. Okay, so now methods of solving simultaneous equations. There are typically four methods which we are going to study in this chapter. Those are the method of elimination by equating the coefficients, the method of elimination by substitution, by graphical method, and fourth by Cramer's rule. So in the first exercise, we are going to talk about the first and the second method. Okay, we'll see first and the second method. This graphical method and Cramer's rule will be in the part of the next exercises. So all these we are going to study in this chapter, but right now we are going to talk about the method of elimination by equating the coefficients and by the method of elimination by substitution. Okay, so let us proceed further. Now let me tell you children, this method of elimination by equating the coefficient, the first method we have already studied in 9th standard. Okay, so we are just going to revise it once again by understanding examples that we already have in our textbook. Okay, so there are certain sort of examples which are given in your textbook, out of which the first sum here I have written, and with this sum we are going to solve by two methods. The first method, which was equating the coefficients, and we are also going to solve the same question by the substitution method. So first let us solve this by first method, which is equating the coefficients. Now what do I mean by equating? Equating means making equal. Yes, and coefficients, where are the coefficients children? This 5, 3, 3, and here no number means 1. Okay, these are all the coefficients of the variables. Okay, so we are going to equate them, means we are going to make them equal. Whom are we going to make equal, children? We are going to either consider this x ka variables, or we are going to consider y ka variables. Okay, we have to make them similar. Means what do I mean by here? I mean that either I have to change 5 and 3 to the same number, or I have to change 3 and 1. Where is 1 here? Here, it's here. Okay, so I have to change 3 and 1 to the same number. So I have to decide which one I have to change. That will be my equating the coefficients. So here when we solve such kind of sum, children, we have to look for two things. First, whether your coefficients are equal or not. Like in this case they are not equal, and the coefficients will compare of whom, of x with x and y with y. Okay, also you have to look for the signs. Okay, like for example, if you look at for the signs of the x variable in both the equations, it is positive. Like here there is like here this 5x is positive, 3x is positive, right? Also, then you go towards the y variable. In y variable, what do you have? You have minus here, whereas you have plus here. Okay, so whenever you have opposite signs, no children, like minus and plus, then in such case you are going to add the equations. You're going to add both the equations. Okay, whereas if you have the same signs, for example, if this equation could have had 5x plus 3y, okay, so in that case you could have had plus and plus here, right, and also plus here and plus here. So in that case we will subtract. Okay, so if you have the same signs, then you're going to subtract. Okay, so this is what two things you have to remember. One, whether you're going to add the equations or not, or subtract the equations, and secondly, whether their coefficients are same. Okay, so let us proceed and solve the sum. Now let me first write down these equations in a vertical form. Okay, so how will I write down? So as always, I will write down the first equation, and also I will write down the second equation. So now what is my duty? To find out whether the coefficients are same or not. Okay, so here 5 and 3 are not same, and 3 and 1 is also not same. So now I'll have to change either one of them. So I can change the coefficients of x or the coefficients of y. But if I look at the coefficients of y, it is 3 and 1, and which is easy to change, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to change the coefficients of 3 and 1. And how can we change that, children? We can change the number 3 and 1 by multiplying the equations with a certain number. Like for example, if there is number 1 here, right? So I am going to change the here this 3 and 1 I am going to change to the same number. Okay, so what I do is I write down the table of 1 and 3. So 1 ones are 1, 2 twos are 2, 2 3 1 sorry 1 ones are 1, 1 twos are 2, 1 threes are 3, 1 fours are 4, 1 fives are 5, and 1 6 are 6. Whereas here I have 3 ones are 1, 3 twos are 6. Now here I have to look up for the common number in both the tables. So the common number that I find is 3. Yes. Also I find 6 common, right? But we always take the smallest number, which is why we call this as least common multiple. This is the LCM of both the numbers. Okay, so here we are going to take the number 3, means what? We are going to convert 3 and 1 into 3. Okay, so that's what we have decided now. Now coming back to our equation, is I want to change 1 and 3. How will I do that, children? See, the first equation already has 3 in place of y, right? The coefficient of y is already 3. Yes, so there is no problem with this. So where is the problem? The problem is with 1y. I have to change this 1y to 3y. I want to change this 1 to 3. And how can I change this 1 to 3? If you look here, 1 into 3. Yes, 1 into 3 gives you 3. Right? So that means if I multiply this 1 with 3, I'll get 3 here, right? But I cannot multiply only y with or this 1 with 3. If I want to change multiply anything there, I have to multiply this with the entire equation. That means I have to multiply this 3x also with 3, 2 also with 3. So for that we write down a statement that we multiply equation 2 by 3. Okay, so when we are going to multiply equation 2 by 3, what will happen? Let us have a look. See here, now just pay attention very nicely. See, like if I look here, I have multiplied this equation with 3. See this 3x plus 1, 3x plus y is there. So left side we have multiplied with 3 here, and 2 is also here, and we have multiplied it with 3. So we'll open the brackets now. When we open the brackets, 3 into 3 gives you 9. 3 into 1 gives you 3, and 3 twos are gives you 6. Okay, so this is what we have now. Now secondly, after multiplying equation 2, what we have got is a new equation, which is equation 3. So now what will I do? I will now not use equation 2 because I have already used it for multiplying. Okay, so once you multiply that equation, you do not use it. So since I have used this equation, I will not use this. Now I am going to use equation 1 and equation 3. Okay, so let us see now what to do with this. Now if I compare these two equations, 5x minus 3 and 9x plus 3y, what do we find? We find that there is minus 3y and there is plus 3y. So we have, what we have done, we have equated the coefficients according to our method. Yes, we have equated the coefficients. Now the next step is adding or subtracting. You have to decide whether you have to add the equations or you have to subtract the equations. Okay, so as I have told you earlier that if you have the opposite signs, you are going to add, and if you have the similar signs, you are going to subtract. Okay, so since there is minus 3y and plus 3y, we will say adding equation 1 and 3. So when I add equation 1 and 3, what do I get? I write down first equation and then I write down the third equation and then I am adding them. So if I add, what will happen? 9 plus 5 gives me 14. What happens to minus 3y and plus 3y? This is what? This is 3 minus 3, which will be 0. Or in other words, if you have the same thing, same term with the opposite sign, you can cancel them, minus 3y and plus 3y, and you will be left only with 5 plus 9x. Okay, so this is 14x is equal to 14. So what does this mean, 14x? 14x means 14 into x is equal to 14, right? So if I want to find out x, I'll keep this x alone. This 14 will go here, but when 14 goes there, this has been multiplication here. So when it goes there, it will become division. So this will become x is equal to 14 divided by 14. Now when you do this 14 divided by 14, it becomes y. Okay. So this is my value of x, which is 1. Now once you get the value of x, you can easily find out the value of y by just substituting it in any of the equation of your choice. Now for substitution, you can use equation 1, equation 2 or equation 3, whichever equation you wish to substitute. Okay. So what I do is I say that substituting x is equal to 1 in equation 1. So I substitute in equation 1 and see what do I get. What is this? See children, this is 5, this is 5, okay, but instead of x, we have 1, right, and everything else is same, minus 3y is equal to 8 and minus 3y is equal to 8, just that in place of variable, we have written the value of the variable which we have just found out, okay, so this is what we write now. When I multiply this 5 and 1, this 5 into 1 will be 5 minus 3y is equal to 8. Since I have to find out the variable y, what I do is I have to shift 5 to the other side. Then when it will go to the other side, what will happen to it? It will become plus 5 becomes minus 5. So when this goes there, it becomes minus 5. And hence, we get 8 minus 5, which is 3. Now I want to find out only y, so I'll keep this y alone and minus 3 will go there. That will be the division, right? Because minus 3y means what, children? Minus 3y means minus 3 into y is equal to 3. So when this 3 will go there, it will be, so therefore what will happen when it goes on the other side? Y will be equal to 3. This is multiplied by 3, so here when it goes, it becomes divide by minus 3. Okay. In other words, it is minus 1 when we solve it. So this is what we are going to get when we are going to solve. So hence, after solving, what have we got? We have got the value of x and we have got the value of y. So this is our final thing, but we cannot leave this as it is. We are going to write down the final statement saying that x is equal to 1 and y is equal to minus 1 is the solution. Now this was the first method, which was equating the coefficients. Now in the next step, we are going to observe the same question but with the different method. Okay, so let us do that with the different method. So we are going to do the same question with second method, which is method of substitution. Okay, now here how are we going to substitute, children? So for that, what we are going to do, we are first going to write down equation 1, equation 2. Now in the substitution thing, what you have to do is, you have to change either equation 1 or either equation 2 in the form of variables x or y. Like for example, the second equation I can change to y is equal to 2 minus 3x. Means I can either take the simplicity, you can change 5x minus 3y also, you can change 3x plus y equation also. But we look for the easiest variable. Okay, so the easiest variable was only y. For that, what I had to do, I had to just change this 3x to the other side, and when I do that, what happens, it becomes 2 minus 3x. So now I am going to consider equation 1 and equation 3, because 2 I have already used, I have changed it. Okay, now when I'm going to talk about equation 1 and 3, what will be the next step? The next step is going to be very easy, children. We just have to substitute the value of y in this equation. Means in the place of y is equal to 2 minus 3x. No, so we are going to substitute this value. Bas, that's it. No multiplying, nothing you have to do here. Just you change either of the equation, either equation 1. If you find equation 1 was easy, you can change that, or you can change equation 2. Okay, whatever you wish to, and you just substitute the values in the given place. Okay, so now substituting the value of y in equation 1. See, if you observe carefully, we have substituted the value of y in the equation 1. Just have a look. Now here 5x we have written as it is, 3 also we have written as it is, but instead of y we have written 2 minus 3x and is equal to 8. Okay, so now after doing this, we're just going to open the brackets and solve our sum. We are going to get the value of x, and then after getting the value of x, when we'll be substituting in any of the equation, we'll get the value of y. So as of now, let us open the brackets. So what is this? 5x minus 3 2s will be 6, and this minus into plus. The multiplication of the signs is very important. So minus into plus is minus. Here again 3 3s are 9, and minus into minus will be plus. This minus 3 and this minus 3 will give me plus 9. Okay, so as a result of this, after opening the brackets, I get this is equal to 8. After doing this, we'll add the like terms, which is 5x plus 9x, which will be 14x, minus 6 is equal to 8. Now 14x will remain on one side, and 6 minus 6 will go on the other side, so it will become plus 6. Okay, so 14x will be 14. 8 plus 6 is going to be 14. Okay, so now next step will be x is equal to 14 upon 14, which will give me 1. Now after getting the value of x as 1, we'll substitute in any of the equation which you find easy. So I'm substituting it in equation 3. So see, the equation 3 is what? Y is equal to 2 minus 3x. So this becomes y is equal to 2 minus 3 into 1. Yes, instead of x, we have written 1. Okay, then open the brackets. Y is equal to 2 minus 3 into 1. So y is equal to 2 minus 3, which will be minus 1. Hence x is equal to 1 and y is equal to minus 1 is the solution. So I hope both the methods are very clear to you. The previous one was the method of elimination by equating the coefficients, and this method was method of elimination by substitution. Okay, so when we are going to solve for more examples now, children, this will become much clearer to you. Let us move towards one more example, which is slightly different. If you look here, observe carefully. 15x plus 17y is equal to 21, and 17x minus plus 15y is equal to 11. It looks, the something is very uncommon here. See, just something is very different from the previous equation. If you look, the equations of the coefficients of x and y here is 15 and 15, and the coefficient of y and coefficient of x is 17 and 17. So what has happened here, children? If you see, the coefficients are interchanged. Like whoever is the coefficient of x in the first equation is the coefficient of y in the next equation. Yes, and whenever you get such question where you have the same numbers but they are interchanged, in that case the rule is very simple. You are going to add the equations once and you're going to subtract the equations once. Both the things you're going to do. You're going to add these both equation and you're also going to subtract both these equation. Okay, so adding equation 1 and 2. So we'll add them first. So when you add 15 and 17, you get 32 and 32. So this is, you are having 32x plus 32y is equal to 32. We are going to reduce this equation by dividing it by 32. Okay, so when we do that, 32 divided by 32 will be 1. Okay, and 32 divided by 32y will also be 1 y, and the 32 divided by 32 will be 1. So we get equation 3. Now after adding, we are also going to subtract both the equation once. So we are going to subtract equation 2 from equation 1. So we are going to again write down both the equations. But when you subtract, no children, the sign changes. Sign of whom changes? Sign of the second equation changes. Like for example, the 17 has got plus sign here. Okay, so this sign will now change to minus. Even there is plus sign here which will change to minus, and there is plus sign here which change to minus. So all your signs which are positive will change to the other sign, and hence these signs which are already present in the second equation will not be applicable. This happens only when we subtract the equation. This will not be applicable now. You will be using minus, this minus and this minus. Okay, so this happens only when you subtract the equations, not when you add the equations. So now what will happen here? So now 15 minus 17 will be minus 2x. 17 minus 15 will be plus 2y, and 21 minus 11 will be 10. Now if you see 2, 2 and 10, whose table contains all these two numbers? 2 and 10 comes in whose table? It comes in 2's table, right? And that's why we are going to divide it by 2. So when we divide this by 2, we'll get minus x plus y is equal to 5. Okay, so now we have equation 3 and equation 4. So what did we do now, children? We have still not got the answer. Okay, but we are little far away from our answer. What we have to do when the coefficients are interchanged? We have to add ones and we are going to subtract ones. By adding you will get one more equation, and by subtracting you will get one more equation. After that, whatever new equations you'll get, you just have to add them once. Means what? Now again I'm going to add equation 3 and equation 4. So now that equation 3 and 4 I'm going to add again. So equation 3 was x plus y is equal to 1, and equation 4 was x minus x plus y is equal to 5. So now I'm going to add. What will happen? X and minus x will get cancelled because they are with the opposite sign. So you will get only 2y is equal to 6. Now when this 2y is equal to 6, y will become 6 upon 2, which will be 3. Now once I get the value of y, I'll be substituting it in any of the equation of my choice. Now x plus y is equal to 1. See, this is equation 3. So x plus y is equal to 1. So instead of y, what have I done? I've put 3 there. Okay. So now after doing that, what do we get? X plus 3 is equal to 1. Now this 3 will go on the other side, it will become minus 3, and 1 minus 3 will be result in minus 2. So we've got both the answers, the value of x and y. So this is the solution of the equation. Thank you.